tell me about yourself.
My name is Mercy Adebayo, married with two kids. But right now, I'm in med school, my second year. I've lived over 30 years in Nigeria, so I can talk about Nigeria very well. We have many languages, but the major three tribes we have are Yorubas, Hausas, and the Igbos. So I'm one of the major three tribes. That's the Yorubas.
To be honest, I'm not very aware of the differences between the tribes. So maybe you could share a characteristic or something special about your tribe you belong to.
I'm a Yoruba girl, and I mentioned that the houses are in the northern parts of Nigeria, and the western part is the temperature is just warm, it's temperate, it's okay. So our dressing is simple, it's for warm weather, while the other parts of the country, which is the southern eastern part, where the Igbos reside, they also have their language too. It's more of the colder region. There are more rings. Differences between the tribes, their languages, their dressing, according to the temperature, have one language that everybody speak, and that's English. Our lingua franca is English. So
Okay.
everybody can understand everybody.
So can we say that apart from English and the differences between the tribes that you mentioned, can we say that you have like kind of three different small countries or small cultures combined in one in your country?
Exactly. Let's say cultures. I actually said, oh, we have different tribes. We have over 500 languages. Yeah. So we
Oh,
have different tiny tribes. The bigger ones are those ones I've mentioned, and their cultures are kind of different.
can you mention three things we should know, what foreigners should know before visiting Nigeria?
Happiness, this friendliness with one another. Then another thing a tourist notes, we like parties.
Can
Wow.
you describe like a typical party in Nigeria? What happens?
Let me go with wedding ceremony. I
Okay.
know in the West, main thing about the traditional marriage ceremony is just the payment of bride price. We pay price. That is the groom's family will pay the bride's family. So it's not like you're placing a value on the woman. But then after the payments of the bride price, then there will be many dancing, much music. Now the next day we're gonna do the Western way, and that's the church wedding. So then they'll go, the bride and the groom will now go to the church with their families and friends. The party could number 500 persons
Oh,
in a
wow, that's a
gathering.
quite big
Yeah.
wedding party,
So
eh?
yeah, so it's not that like a small thing that we see in the West. So the priest blessed the marriage, and after the marriage, we have this very loud kind of section too, colorful and decorated and all.
Talking of parties, I think we can smoothly move to the topic of local cuisine in Nigeria, and maybe you can share your favorite local dishes and just introduce what we need to know about Nigerian cuisine.
The favorite one, okay, is jollof rice, the Nigerian jollof rice. I don't know whether you've heard of it because I know that
Actually,
Sierra
no, I
Leone.
haven't.
Oh, really? That Nigerian jollof rice, we have another version in Sierra Leone. We have another version in Ghana. But Nigerian jollof rice is also a very special dish. It's just rice, but it's not just rice. Like you mix in a whole lot of condiments and make it into what we call the jollof. Jollof, that's Jollof, jollof rice. So, but because I'm Nigerian, I'm biased. So I believe jollof rice is the best. And we have different types of soups that I wrote in the book. Yeah,
What's your favorite spot in Nigeria?
that's very hard to
You can
choose.
name a couple of them, definitely not just one.
Okay, so oh, waterfalls. We call it oh
Ooh,
waterfalls. It's just yes, OWU.
oh,
Oh,
Is it because of the sound coming from it? How the name is?
Oh well.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, actually sounds like ooh, something like that.
Okay.
Oh, river at the bottom of it, and there you have to climb and climb. It's a kind of a hilly place. You have to climb up to the waterfall, and then you can swim in there. Another favorite place is Aso Rock in Abuja. Abuja is the capital of Nigeria. So we have waterfalls, we have zoos, we have parks with animals, and then these mountains. Yeah.
Share some warnings that we need to be aware of before visiting Nigeria.
Major one would be to be aware of some parts of Nigeria kind of can kidnap people. So I think
Oh, wow.
the security aspect of it, and there are some points in Nigeria that tourists are not like allowed to go to or to visit. They it would be there on the travel advisory in the northern part of the country at places that tourists are not really encouraged to venture in. In fact, you're not supposed to just be by yourself. Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, I want to venture out by myself. No, you should have a guide.
Like if you don't have a guy with you, if two girls walk in the street, is that safe or?
Two ladies can walk by themselves. You don't have to cover your hair or anything like that. But I'm just saying that as a tourist, whether a male or a female or females or males, you
Okay.
should have a guide with you to, lead you into the proper streets and not just be by yourself.
How is your culture reacting to cultural differences? Let's say, I don't know, nowadays we have like different type of sexual orientations or different minority groups. Is it safe for them or?
And Nigerians may not be very accepting of different sexual orientations, but it would not harm you or would not do you or persecute you on the streets. No, nothing
Okay,
like that.
tourist gems in within Nigeria that are not very famous.
We call it a Museum. National Museum, you may not really see it on Google, or if you see it, it doesn't have much information like that, but I've been there. Tiny village in the south. And they have this the museum comprises of artwork, clay basically, then iron ore, so we can have all these figurines
Mhm.
and all this artwork like that. There's a spring in Kogosi, warm and cold spring. Now, just according to the name, it's a spring where cold water and very modern warm water is actually coming out from. And the water can be above warm, almost hot, and then the other part of the water is cold.
We can wrap up our conversation on the topic of the book you wrote. You can give a little deeper answer to the question why you decided to get involved in such a book.
Okay, so when Mark approached me and just mentioned this project, I got interested, and I decided to join in because I want people to know about Nigeria. But if you read my book, see if you've actually been to Nigeria before, because I walk you through places, awesome places, and stuff about Nigeria, the language, our favorite words to say, our slangs, so that when you step into Nigeria, you actually know what to expect, you know what to say, you know how to greet people, you know what food to ask for, and what places to stay.
Working with the mission we are all currently on.
When I met Mark, he spoke kindly, he made me understand what his mission is, which is just to write about the countries of the world, especially countries that maybe people don't really know much about, and then to put it out there so that people can travel, people can just pick up our books and read them and want to visit, or pick up our books, and those books can serve as a travel guide themselves. One of the things I like about Izima Publishing is that the burden of publishing, the burden of looking for editors, the burden of doing a whole lot of things that authors have to do is not there. Making writers into authors and then taking the burden, the stress of the publishing how from them, and then just putting their vision out there. Yes, putting their stories out. So yeah.
Perfect. Yes. It's like sharing your experience, your local kind of homey experience about that country with the world, and yeah, making it a little easier for tourists visiting your country. Okay, Mercy, thanks for all the insights you shared about Nigeria. We'll be in touch. Have a great day. And
Have a great day too.
thank you very much.
Bye. Nice
Okay,
speaking with
bye-bye.
you.